Let's talk a little bit about the future. In your book, The Business of Sharing, you shared a quote from Peter Diamandis. Peter said that a Maasai warrior on a cell phone in the middle of Kenya now has better access to knowledge than President Reagan did 25 years ago. So let me repeat that because it's an awesome quote, I'll be honest. A Maasai warrior on a cell phone in the middle of Kenya now has better access to knowledge than President Reagan did 25 years ago. And it's incredible to see the level of innovation and the compounding, especially over the past couple of years, right? Yeah. The world is changing faster in a month than it used to change in a year. It's wild. What are you excited?
Or 1,000 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, if it compounds and compounds, you know, it's insane. But what are you excited about right now? Obviously, the social side is super important for you. That's what your mission is. Yeah. But just from a general, wider tech perspective, what are you excited about? What do you think is going to change the world in the next 25 years?
Kind of an interview question I sometimes ask people. It's the word of the moment, but, you know, AI is, this is the hour of AI. And whether it has whether it reaches the heights of people's expectations of people who are more evangelical or not, there's no doubt, I think, that it will have a profoundly important impact on humanity and the planet. Will it be more significant than the internet itself? Maybe. But even if it's only a quarter as significant, that's pretty huge. And you know, within the world that I work in, which you would really call welfare services, I'm very, very excited about what AI can do. If you look at welfare services from when they got going, which was really in the aftermath of the Second World War, to the present day, they've really been defined by human-powered solutions, people who need help, and the only way to help all of those people is to get another group of people and get that group helping the other group. Yeah. That sort of makes sense. However, there's a real limit to what you can do with that model because the group of people helping are very expensive and end up being nowhere near adequate in numbers, and you, of course, have to train them and replace them when they get burnt out because they're nowhere near adequate enough in numbers. And it's a very, very unscalable solution. And what happened, I think, last year, and what I think Beam is really leading the charge on, is using AI to massively augment the powers of humans to deliver services that are much better and much cheaper. And so, you know, what we've already built is effectively a first version of an AI caseworker who sits as a co-pilot within our own proprietary technology and supports our human beings with all kinds of different tasks.
Have you got this already out there? Or?
Yeah, so this is live. This is part of our own internal tech. So this AI caseworker can write a message. Yeah. Whereas, 9 months ago, you might have to read through a whole message thread and work out, I've been away for 2 weeks, let me get my head around this situation, and I'm going to draft a message, and you suddenly lost 20 minutes writing a message. You now press a button, and it will draft you that message in 5 or 10 seconds, probably less. Little things like looking through files to get information, asking the AI caseworker to prepare a plan. How do I get this person into a job? It's really, really hard to synthesize a huge amount of information and answer questions like that. Well, AI is really very good at that. And more, AI will become an interface for the end user. And there will be a human being who is there to support the AI, but the AI will be the primary interface for these types of services. And I believe that will happen because there's so many people to help. And the only way to scale up support for that many people is using technology, at least in an affordable way. And also, there are real benefits to the end user. If someone is able to have support from an AI, at least in the first instance, that is support they can get 24/7, 365. The moment they decide they want to progress their life in whatever dimension it is, there is support there. If they don't speak English, the AI will converse with them in the language they do speak. And the AI will also have all of the sort of collective data and collective understanding of millions of data points. And already I look at the AI caseworker we've built, and I think it's able to provide advice to a way higher level than I can. Not our caseworkers who do a great job, day in, day out, and have really deep expertise. But I used to do that job. I know a bit. I'm not an expert, and this is better than me, and of course will only get better. And so the ability of an AI to rifle through a vast amount of data, to synthesize that data, to make recommendations, is really extraordinary, and it's only going to grow. And so I'm so excited about this because, for me, when you're suddenly got this technology that both collapses the cost and increases the quality, then suddenly these problems that have been so heavily politicized for such a long time are not going to be political. We have wasted always a huge amount of time saying, should we invest in these welfare services? The left might say yes, the right might say no. And these conversations inevitably happen because these investments are really, really costly. You're looking at the Department of Work and Pensions has a budget of hundreds of billions of pounds a year. So of course these things are going to get talked about. But if you can suddenly use technology to massively slash the cost of these services, it gets to the point where no one is really going to be spending as long talking about these things because they're just so dramatically cheaper. And you see that in all types of different things. It will just cease to be as controversial a topic, and it will just become a BAU service. No one is discussing the relative merits of should we be funding streetlights. It's because they're not that expensive, and we all agree it's worth it. But if each streetlight cost £100 million, they would be talking about it in the Houses of Parliament. We'll be having little private companies going around with torches, and and so I'm really excited about that because I think that these problems should be taken out of the realm of the political and into the realm of the human. And that will only happen when they're much, much cheaper. And so, we really want to lead the charge on this, and we really want to grow into the AI welfare services company. And so we're making a lot of investments now in product and technology. If you're listening to this pod and you're a senior product manager or a Ruby on Rails engineer, would love to hear from you. And it's an exciting time, I think, because these problems have been ignored by tech a long time, and now AI does present this opportunity to make, I think, quite a quantum leap forward on problems that have kind of plagued the human race for ever since we kind of got out of the caves and tried to build cities and civilizations.
I know, and what a time to be alive, eh? I mean, it's very exciting.
Yeah, I think so. I'm like most people in tech. I'm an optimist. I think there's going to be some real challenges that AI will present. And warfare will change, and fraud will change, and it will be a similar cat and mouse to what we see in many areas of human activity. There'll be goodies and baddies and cops and robbers. But in this particular area of welfare services, I am tremendously hopeful. I just want to ensure that everyone who needs help can get awesome help the moment they need it and want it from an internet-connected device. And that vision is eminently achievable. How long it takes us to get there is something we're yet to find out.